Hello all. Yes, I am a bit sunburnt. If you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you'll see that we actually took the boat out. It's been about 2 years um, since we last took it out. So, interestingly enough, I don't get this burnt when I go to Southeast Asia, and I did have sunscreen on, and I've been putting aloe vera on, so it's not as bad as what it was. Sitting on my broken couch, kind of reminded of a poem that I wrote in my book, and I'm going to read it out to you. There's a lot of families in distress at the moment, and I can identify because I have been homeless myself. My children have been displaced, and it is not a pleasant feeling, and it's taken me just over 3 years or longer than 3 years to view the place that I'm living in now as my home, because I've had so much instability when it comes to home life, with my mum moving around a lot. It was one of the things that I said I wouldn't do with my kids. However, we didn't move too many times, but we did move a bit due to whatever reasons, some foreseeable, some not foreseeable. And some was to get them closer to a school that, made it easier on them to get to school instead of relying on me because I wasn't that consistent with getting up and getting them to school. So I absolutely can say that I feel for the families, because as much as I didn't live that life for very long, I lived it long enough, and we were both working full time, so it's not like we weren't working. And I read an article yesterday where someone in Australia was trying to negotiate the rent because the rent was going up, and instead of them coming down to meet her, they offered an extra increase on the increase that they already were going to tell her. Now, I do not understand why, as Australia, we're not adopting some of the European or overseas situations when it comes to renting, why we don't have capped renting, why we're not, like a landlord should not be able to increase their rent, 50%, because as someone rightly said, I read on a post probably about a year ago, because I'm not on Facebook anymore, fair enough, there are some landlords doing it hard as well, because they've got mortgages to pay, but also they chose to do that. I've been a landlord as well, so I feel I understand, but you choose to do that. You don't have to have a second house to rent out. You don't have to have a third house to rent out, but you choose to do it. So do they also pass on the discount when the banks go the other way around? I don't think so. At the end of the day, it is a business and it needs to be viewed as a business by the landlord, but there also has to be some counterbalance, consideration of humanity and the person that is living in that investment property, especially with the living crisis. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Australia as such a difficult place to rent in my entire adult life, and I've had a child that couldn't find a rent, ended up living in a share home. I'm very, very fortunate that all of my children will not be renting for much longer. But that's going to get harder and harder for the younger generations as they get on. Once upon a time, you only needed to earn 60,000 Australian to buy a house. Now you're looking at 100,000 or more, which, is a lot of money even for two people to earn. Like, it depends what kind of work that you do, whether you even earn close to that. So like I said, I really feel for the families doing it tough and on the verge of, not having a home. So this is my poem for the day. I apologize if I don't remember my poems off by heart, so I am reading from the book, and it is 50 Days of Poems. What is a home? Is it a place you've lived in for a lifetime or 6 months? Is it the people who share your dwelling? What if you are alone under your roof? Is it the pictures you hang on the wall or the memories of your personality that make it a home? Is home a one-bedroom apartment or a mansion full of empty rooms? What if your home is in the streets? Is it less of a home? Home is where love shines and those around you make you feel welcome. Home is where you fit in that has no definition. Your home is where your heart is full. So to those families struggling out there, I hope at least your heart is full and you are surrounded by loved ones and you have support. And I hope that this crisis turns around soon, especially for those that are really struggling, and the government can easily put some things in place to kind of stem this tide, but for whatever reason they're not. So wherever you're sleeping tonight, make it your home, make it as comfortable as you can, and think of something that you have accomplished so you keep your self-worth and your pride in yourself. Have a good day. Have a good week. Thank you for following. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.